Okay, so I was granted the opportunity by my first lady, which is Sister Florence Annette, to give y'all my story about something that's a really sensitive topic for me because it wasn't really that long ago. So, you just have to bear with me as I tell you this. But I was about 19 years old, and I was in school. I was going to college at the time. And, it was my first time really being, out away from under my parents. I was able to do my own thing, pretty much. So, I was going out, having fun, doing all that type of stuff that 19-year-olds do. Let's just be real. And so, I met this guy at this bar one night, and really attractive, really handsome, well-dressed guy. It was something I really wasn't used to, because I was used to kind of the only boyfriend I had ever had at that time wasn't a pretty guy, and this guy was a pretty guy. And so he very attractive, very handsome. And so, got his phone number, he got mine, and so, we started to text from there. The next day, or maybe a day or two later, we met up on campus. We got to know each other more. And, everything seems to be going good. It was kind of rushed, because he was fresh out of a relationship, and at the time, I wanted to be his girlfriend. I was just I want to be a girlfriend, So I would say it was kind of rushed on my part. So, because I was kind of rushing him to make that decision, because, I don't know if it was just me being young. I don't know, but I was just rushing into something. Now that I look at it now, I can say I was rushing into something. So this was around the summertime. So, I was staying in the dorm room then, so I knew I was going to have to go back to my parents. So I wasn't going to be able to see him as much, because I was going to have to go to my parents' house or whatever. And so where we were was not far from my hometown. So, you know what I'm saying? So I was able to go and see him on weekends or whatever, even though I was staying with my parents, even though I had to move out of my dorm room, so I wasn't staying on campus anymore. I had to go home to my parents, but I was able to come back because he stayed in an apartment at the time here. Apartment with some friends or whatever. So I was able to come back and see him. And so he did make me his girlfriend, maybe a month after that. And so he made me his girlfriend. So just fast forward a little bit, and then so I ended up wanting to get an apartment. I wanted to get an apartment so we could move in together, because 19 years old, this is my first serious relationship. And serious, I said serious because I wasn't under my parents' roof. It was serious enough to not be under my parents' roof. So I wanted to get an apartment. I eventually did get the apartment for us to move in together. I don't want to say it because everything is a learning experience, but the worst decision of my life. Let's just say that. Alright, worst mistake of my life. So I got an apartment because at the time, he didn't have anywhere to stay. I don't even think he was working. He wasn't even working. And his friend wasn't going to let him stay there because he wasn't paying rent anymore. And they were roommates. So I wanted to get an apartment. So, because I kind of he played me off of my empathy and my sympathy for him. So he kind of played off of that. That was my weakness, was my empathy and my sympathy towards him. Got an apartment. Moved him into my apartment. Everything went downhill from there. I don't want to make this too long because it's still really, really fresh, and I'm at work, so I don't want to be really emotional about it. So everything just started to go downhill from there. I remember times where it would be something as simple as the air conditioner not being on the temperature that he wanted it to be on, and it would cause him to drag me by my hair through my apartment, chase me down the street, and down a dark street. We lived on a hill, and he would chase me down that dark street, and then every single time he would do that, and it would be I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. But through all of that, a major turning point this is something that really was a major turning point in this relationship for me, or for me, like to know that I have to get away from here. It was homecoming. His friends had came down. My friends were down. And I don't know what happened that night, but he was drinking. And he ended up choking me on my bed. Choking me so long till the blood vessels in my eye burst. All the blood vessels in this eye burst. Because I was without oxygen for so long. So I went to my friends came and got me after I called a friend of mine, and she came and got me, and I stayed at her apartment. And the next day, I didn't even realize the blood vessels in my eye had popped. So the next day, I looked at myself in the mirror, and so one of our friends was a nurse. She had just graduated, and she was like, "You might need to go to the doctor about it." She was like, "Cause that could be something serious." And when I told the doctor what happened, he just looked at me. He was like, "Do you know that statistically, that if somebody will choke you, their next step is to kill you?" And after that, I don't know, his words just rang in my head. I still see this doctor all the time, and I know he still remembers me from that incident, but his words just continue to play over in my head. And he wanted me to tell my parents then, but I didn't tell them. I don't know what eventually caused me to tell my parents, but that was a really good thing that I did. But I heard this man's words over and over again, that the next step is for him to kill you. So I remember staying at my friend's apartments for 7 days. I stayed a complete week. Then I went back. And not even, it was, "Oh, I'm so sorry. When I seen your eye, I just wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself." It was just this narcissistic behavior. Like, you just have to be careful. Like, you have to be really, really careful. But not even 2 days later, I remember me and him getting into an argument, him dragging me through my apartment, because he would drag me through my apartment, and he put his hands around my throat. He didn't touch my throat, and he said, "I'll do it." And that was it. I told my parents what happened, and that was the best thing I ever did, because I'm blessed. I have really good parents, and that's what caused the end to that, was me telling my parents what happened, and my daddy intervening on my behalf. That's what caused that to end. He even went as far as saying he would kill himself if I left, just like red flag after red flag after red flag. And I just wish I would have knew what I knew now then. But it just all started with something simple. I think he might have slapped me. And that's not simple, but then it didn't seem, I don't know why, but it didn't seem like it was such a huge deal to me then. And I don't know why, but it instead of like, I think the next day he was like, "Go get your nails did. I'll pay for you to get your nails did." And like, those are just major red flags. And then, like, even when I brought it up later, after I got my nails did or whatever, he would write me off like, "Oh, I don't want to hear about that anymore. I already made up for that, and I didn't even hit you that hard." So, it was just like, it didn't really matter to him at all, and it was just, I was 19 years old. So at 19 years old, I know that at 18 years supposedly an adult, but at 19 you haven't seen enough. Most people haven't seen enough to deal with that type of thing from somebody. And the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, it was just so much. On the 19, I was with him till I maybe was on the cusp of turning 21. And from 19 to 21, I remember being in my shower, like, scared that he would just run in there, like, scared to death of him running in there on me in my shower, because I was scared of what he would do to me. And at 19 years old, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. And different things would happen. He would drink a lot, and he would be really violent towards me when he would drink, and he would take out a lot of things on me. Like, if stuff wasn't going good on his part, he would take it out on me. It was just so much. He would tear up our furniture in the apartment. It was really my furniture. He would tear it up. I remember him kicking my door down and never getting it fixed, and tearing up my car, stealing money from me. And my friends would tell me, like, this isn't normal. Like, this isn't like normal behavior. But it was just something, I don't know if it was my empathy or if it was just my youth, which caused me to not see that was not normal. But for some reason, I didn't understand that wasn't normal behavior then. Like, I remember my door being kicked completely off the hinges. And I remember flipping over a glass table onto me. You know, like, I remember stuff like that. Like, really just violent behavior towards me, you know. And I it's this thing, and I see it a lot. You know, I see it a lot now, where women think that, and I guess I could say this is why I put up with it, that sometimes you can equate, oh, he acting crazy over me, you can equate that to love. But that's not love. Like, you don't treat nothing you love like that. You know, I don't treat nobody I love like that. So that's not love. I see it all the time. Like, oh, if a man ain't never broke your phone or never threatened to do this to you, then he don't love you, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I see that all the time. That's why it's just important to know, like, to honestly know what love really is, and to know how somebody should love you. So I just want to tell y'all, like, that's not love. That's not love. That's not ever love. It's no way that can ever be love. One time should be enough to make you leave, because it won't get better. It won't change. It's not love, and it's not fair to you, because if somebody will put their hands on you out of anger like that, they will kill you. And it's so many women, like it just start with a slap or start with a push, but eventually it'll be too late to say I'm sorry. And then what? You know, like, so I mean, I suggest that you just honestly always tell somebody. If something like that has happened to you, get somebody to intervene on your behalf. Don't keep, my mama said this all the time, don't keep secrets with the devil, because the devil is not your friend. So don't keep secrets with the devil. Always have somebody to intervene on your behalf. Tell somebody what's happening to you. And even though, like, that happened to me, and that was one of the hardest things I ever been through, that really was something, you know, that was really hard. But I thank God, because it could have ended up so much worse. I couldn't be here to tell you this today. Like, I honestly, I believe if I would have stayed in there, I wouldn't be here to tell you this today. So I just encourage you to, you know, stay in church and stay under God, so you can know what love really is. Because some people really don't know what love is, and God is love. So if you want the true meaning of love, then don't look for it, and don't look for it anywhere else other than God first. And then you'll know the true meaning, and you won't put up with people doing things like that to you. And I'm just blessed to be able to tell y'all this today, and just, you know, just ladies and men, because domestic violence is on both ends of the spectrum. I just pray that you listen to the words I'm telling you today, and you're able to, you know, get out of any situation like that. And y'all be blessed.